Many of you said, Mala, you need to deal with Spain. Way back when we had Spain almost crushed, we took New Spain, we drove Spain completely out of the New World. And many of you said, Mala, you need to destroy Spain utterly, and I didn't do that. That's completely and utterly my fault. No one else to blame, me entirely. So now we've got to deal with the sort of the aftermath of that, the sort of the resurgence of Spain has to be dealt with. And these are going to constitute the armies that are going to be put together to build a huge, huge invasion force of Spain. So this army group is probably going to strike against these forces here. We'll have another army group, and probably some reserves hitting these army groups here as well. We've got this army here as well for the moment. So what we'll do, once this army moves away to join these forces here, we've got this army group on Ankara. Then what we will do then is we'll move this force out to join the forces here in the Don, as you have recommended. Greetings and welcome to episode 85, my Empire Total War Darth Mod USA campaign. And this, my friends, we left it last time, where once again peace reigns supreme. But not for long, my friends, not for long. Now, once again, I have to say to you all, my friends, thank you so much for your incredible advice. To be honest with you, the advice I got this time in episode 84 has been quite breathtaking in how exemplary it has been. It really has been absolutely incredible. Probably one of the finest episodes for advice I've ever had, and that is no word of a lie. It has been utterly brilliant. No one could ask for a better military council or right hand sort of support as I have got with you, my friends. You've been absolutely wonderful, you really have. And all the advice has been exemplary, and I'm not really one to sort of really, pinpoint one person in particular, because I believe in being even-handed with everybody. But anyone who's read sort of Will Broley's advice I really have to give Will a real huge thumbs up there, and a real sort of salute, as it were, because his advice was absolutely wonderful. It really was, and that goes for everybody. I don't usually pick out one person in particular. I believe in being very even-handed, treating everybody the same, because everybody's advice is always welcome and always incredible. It really is. But Will's this time around, the sheer amount of advice was absolutely incredible. I think many of you actually commented on how much advice and how wonderful the advice was, and that goes for all of you as well. If you ever get a chance to read, please always read back other people's comments if you possibly have the time, if you can, because you will find the sheer scope and scale of the advice is absolutely incredible. It really is, because again, everybody's looking at these campaigns from a different perspective than I am. You look at it as sort of in a wider, sort of a more clearer view than I tend to focus on certain things, but many of you, all of you, are looking at it in a much wider perspective. You've got a much clearer, tactical, keener eye than I have. A lot of these circumstances, and saying that, the main thread through the advice, the main sort of piece of advice was running through as a thread through all of them was this. You said to me, Mala, you've got massive amounts of well-trained, in some cases very experienced, well-equipped troops in North America and the New World. They're not doing anything. They're just garrisoning all these massive cities. You don't need them to be there. You should be stripping them out and using them as part of your attack on Spain. And that is what we are going to do. So for this episode, we are going to be gathering our forces, and I'm going to strip out everything now, barring just, if you just there's one or two sort of little sort of pieces I'm not going to do. I won't jeopardize Philadelphia and Boston. I will leave the armies in there. You never know, because if you go to war with Spain, if they manage to slip an army through or a naval force through our blockade or whatever reason it is, then we could find ourselves in big trouble. We cannot afford to lose Philadelphia or Boston. And also one other place, or two other places, is going to be Florida, because that was usually hit always, and also Cuba, because these are really are. Cuba is a massive, massive trade island. I mean, if we lost Cuba, we would be in a world of trouble, because the trade coming out of Cuba is pretty vast, to be honest with you. So again, we have to really, really watch what we're doing there in terms of the trade. Look at that, 15,000 from there. If we lost it, we would be an absolute killer blow, especially with Afghanistan always sort of, you know, roaming around Cuba. So we've got some islands or some places we will keep garrison stations in, but for the most part, we will be stripping out most of our armies here. And indeed, we're going to deal with this Austrian. Look at that, as I said, these have slipped through the net here. It's not a massive force, and that is still quite a considerable number of ships here they've got there. But we're going to deal with that, and we'll be dealing with that. But we're going to be stripping out. We've got a force here in the fort here, which we were guarding against Britain. This fort, I mean, look at this force here. It's been sat there for ages. You are right, my friends. We're moving this out into a place where we can start using it properly. So again, we're going to move this out of the fort here. Then we've got Falmouth here, an army in Falmouth here as well. Now this army is going to have to be definitely added to here. So we're going to move out here. Again, we have got a an army here as well, which we need a general for. Now I've already got two generals in mind. One is for Charles Wilson, or General Wilson, who wanted a grenadier army. So Charles, as soon as we've got that, my friend, as soon as we've got an army with plenty of grenadiers in, then we will definitely be looking at you. We've also got a brand new general to the channel, just joined the military council, Alec Williams, General Williams. Again, Alec, you will be a general as well in future episodes, I can promise you that. And also we got Alabama Beast as well, who wanted to be a general down in sort of the sort of deep south in Alabama, as it were. Now I don't believe my sort of American geography isn't that good, to be honest with you, but you know, obviously we don't have, I don't believe we've got Alabama here at all in sort of the deep south. But if you maybe like Georgia or the Carolinas, or Alabama's probably in one of those, and I've completely made a fool of myself. But as I said, my US sort of geography, the sort of micromanagement of the US sort of geography, as it were, isn't brilliant. So if I've sort of made a fool of myself just then, please, you know, please let me know, and I will definitely make you a general of where you want to be. And of course, many of you are saying you need to deal also with the Black Hills Plains Nation here. We've got this army here in Upper Louisiana, but the distance they would have to travel to get there is quite extensive. And to be honest with you, to deal with these gentlemen, it's going to require quite the force. But I think we might start these on that journey here into the Plains Nation. Now the Plains Nation is here, so we might just start that on its way in preparation from Upper Louisiana here. So I think we'll just start this army moving. I think everything should be under control here. Yes, indeed. But as you can see, the tax burden is not going down too well here. We can always move forces into there if necessary. Florida we're going to leave as it is. And of course we've got these smaller sort of garrison forces here, which I believe we're going to have to probably, you know, and actually we've got Virginia as well. We've got an army in Virginia here. That's going to be pulled out and moved. Sometimes Virginia is hit quite hard by other nations. They usually land here in Yorktown and hit us pretty hard here, but definitely Maryland is going to be moved out. So we've got an army in Maryland that's going to be moved to join the gathering force here. And also we've got plenty of guns here which we can actually use or put into armies that don't have the full complement of correct guns here. We do sometimes have to retrofit guns. Of course we need more troops in here. We've got the British, and many of you said that Britain isn't going to attack you, but look at Britain. Britain is taking a huge amount of possibly economic damage here, because look at this, all of these flags here are frayed, which means they're losing money. We're also going to strip out this army here. Oh, there we are. Now we can at last retrofit this army here with some brand new 24 pounders, which we've got stationed here. So we'll move this army down here into Hartford. And actually they can be moved in. So what we're going to do is we're going to disband these gentlemen here. And then we're going to move in 3 brand new regiments of artillery. All 24 pounder howitzers. And they are now as a fully complemented army there. That's going to move down to join these gentlemen here. As we gather our military power. But before we attack Spain, also the suggestion was this. You said, Mala, you have to deal with the Mughal Empire here in Newfoundland and Akvatuk before you move on, because we've got another enemy before we reach to Spain as well, and that is here, Sweden. You also said, take out, remove Sweden, destroy Sweden, because they are going to be the main menace for your supply route here. As you can see here, look at that cut off there. If we can remove Sweden completely from this campaign here, destroy them completely, then we will free up that trade for ourselves there from Russia. Of course, if Russia joins a war against us, nothing we can do about that. But we've also got another land up here which we can use then as a sort of, almost as a secret base out of the way. Not many people travel past Iceland. It is quite remote, and it is quite a good location where to stage possible attacks from if things go our way. And also we'll have available to us a naval hospital here in Hoffen, and also in here in Akureyri here. Also that's a port to trade, and also then we've got of course Reykjavik itself here, but again we're going to be looking to remove Sweden completely. Now if we can attack Sweden and all their forces are here, then we can take that straight off the bat. Sweden will be completely gone, and that would be absolutely wonderful for us. But our first job is to take out Newfoundland and Agvituk from the Mughals. Then we're going to start moving our forces into position. As many of you said, if you take out the Mughals and Sweden, you are then also creating a battle-hardened force. You're creating veterans who are then fully prepared to engage the Spanish. It will not be an easy fight there in Spain, believe me. It is going to be an absolute titanic invasion of France, of Spain even. And also, many of you said, Mali, give France Paris back. You have to give it to them, because they need it, because as you can see their flags are becoming frayed, which means they are starting to lose troops hand over fist there. So we've got to help them out if we can. You said give them Paris back, and you were saying keep Amsterdam, maybe keep Brussels for yourself, and also keep Madrid and Portugal and Gibraltar for yourself, but give back Paris, Brussels, Strasbourg and Cologne back to the French, because now remember we're allied with them. They will actually potentially help us against Prussia if it comes to that fight, or even against Britain. Now, are they at war with Britain? Let's quickly check. No, they are not. But they are at war with the Mughal Empire again, a wonderful ally to have here, so we are going to help them out here. But again, our invasion force has to hit home here in a two-pronged assault. As you can see here, Portugal is quite well defended, very well defended, and it's got the Caçadores. Now I'd like to thank Andre for helping me with the pronunciation of that. So as you can see, they've got quite, and they've fought the mortars, the absolute bane of my life here. But as you can see, they are very, very wealthy though at the moment, but they do have most of their forces in Gibraltar, and they've got sort of a small detachment here within the seminary here, but we don't know what's in Madrid, and we really need to know what's in Madrid. So I think to that end we're actually going to move our spy down to Madrid here, and they've got forces dotted all over the place. Look at that force. That is a battle-hardened force here. Look at the forces we're going to be up against here. It is going to be an invasion the likes of which we've never seen before. And also, many of you are saying, Mal, you have to hit into Vienna and possibly Hungary as well, and maybe even moving around here into Prague and sort of absolutely decimating the Austrian sort of steamroll, this engine of war. They're sort of starting to really crank up here. You have to put an end to the Austrians, and that means pushing them back from the border here. So we've got Silesia here in Prussia. We're going to be fighting on a very, very narrow front here, exceptionally narrow front, as you can see, because we've got the French here, which of course we can move through, but this front here is all we've got to attack the Austrians through. So we'll actually be fighting in a very, very, very thin front here. If you excuse any noise in the background, my friend. Of course, someone is looking for attention. Of course, we've got this army group here moved up, which comprises of the brand new reconstituted Marine Expeditionary Force, which of course was, brutally decimated in the last fight of Gdansk. We've got this army group here, but would they withstand this kind of force? I doubt it very, very much. So again, we've got to be very wary what we're doing here. We've left a good complement of troops here, though, within Warsaw, in case this initial surge fails here. But if we can manoeuvre ourselves into the Austrian heartlands, as it were, and really cripple them, we would even be behind the German lines here, and that would throw a real quandary their way. It really would. And again, we were pretty bad economically last turn. It pretty much shows you how much we rely on trade here. Now these fleets are going to have to be moved out of here. We're going to keep one fleet, this fleet here, under General John Holdaway here, who's going to pretty much stand guard here of the North Sea. But these fleets are going to be, this fleet here, this army, this sort of naval combat group here is going to be moved towards the Spanish forces here, because we've got to keep these navies well within port here. We've got to trap them in the ports. We might even have to... No, I don't think we can split this navy here. Do we have any more naval combat groups here? No, we don't at the moment. We've only got these two here. We can't allow anybody into these waters here. We're going to keep this force here in case the Germans decide to sort of help the Spanish. Still not 100%. No, they're not allied with them, but they are got trade partners, so there's a possibility that they may take umbrage to that. Now we've got a good combat, sort of a good naval combat group here, so a good squadron as it were. We've got Gibraltar sealed off, and the Straits here sealed off. We've got a very strong force here, but actually the French are doing the work here for us in Cartagena, and we do have this admiral here. So we are raiding these trade lines here, but ideally we need to cut off this port here so they can't move the troops out here. Britain has already got this. Okay, no, they haven't. No, they haven't. They've actually relinquished. They're not bringing that under control at all. So we're gonna, and also they've got another naval hospital here. So we're gonna have to really be on our guard here. That might mean bringing another combat group from here to help. Well, we've got these two because they're guarding probably the two most important trade ports we have available to ourselves. And that, look at that, they can actually do a job as well, so that's wonderful. So we're bringing all, actually Falmouth can actually be, this army in Falmouth can be brought in as well. We're going to actually bring this up to full strength. As you can see, we're now started to gain that real combat strength we need. Now we've got to also transport the forces here that are in Caracas, and what we will actually do is we'll take these forces out. Oh, gentlemen, please. We'll take these forces out here. We'll actually leave the militia in here just to keep things under a tight lid. But these forces will actually be sent and moved up to the mainland. We've not got many forces here in Bogota, nor in Panama. We don't have, we've just got a small contingent here, yeah, of militia. Here in New Mexico, again, that's a pretty important port for us here, but do we strip out New Mexico as well? Well, if we're going to do it, let's do it properly. Let's put them in the port ready to move. Right, New Mexico is now being effectively abandoned, but I think what we will do is we will actually put some militia in here as well, just to, or actually we'll put some native musket men in there just to keep things under control. We don't have many other forces available to us, but we're going to... New Orleans, now that's another army there, and they can be retrofitted with new guns as well. So we've got a sloop here. We're going to move this force out. The tax burden there is pretty high. Can we lower that tax burden to help out? Indeed we can, sir. Oh, 862. My goodness me, that's a heck of a drop right there. Whew, we can't drop the taxes just yet then. We've got to keep the taxes high. Now that could be a bit of a burden there on us. We're going to have to do some recruiting here of some militia just to keep things under control. We don't want to lose grip here of what's happening. The army can board the ship. And it's going to sail here, and it's going to be retrofitted. We're going to deal with this Austrian fleet here. But we're now beginning to assemble the forces needed here for the invasion of Spain.
I cannot do that. Yes.
Right, let's retrofit this army here. Actually, we could have left these militia, so these militia actually go back.
Sir. By the left. March.
And these gentlemen can actually go back because we're not going to need them.
Impossible, sir. Immediately. Set sail. Sir.
Let's keep things under control. There's no point in just losing control of these.
Waiting further orders.
That's more like it. That's more like it, sir. Right, now that's under control there. This ship will be sent back to join the invasion fleet that's assembling. We are going to deal with this Austrian force. What do we have available here? Oh, look at that. That's our main strike force here, which we're going to use to deal with this.
Our nation rules the
Lost
sea.
one, look at that.
Ready and waiting.
At the bottom of the sea, sir. And look at that, they've hit this building here, so they've actually not been able to build this. Damn it. And of course, the amount of trade coming out of here is quite exceptional, to be honest with you. Excuse any noise in the background, my friends, as per usual here. But look at that, they prevented this building from being put to use. We're actually going to have a trading port here, another one, just to increase our trade, our global trade outreach. But again, we're going to assemble the army group that's going to take out or deal with these gentlemen here within Newfoundland here. Actually, to that end, let's just send out a scout ship here, so we know exactly what we're dealing with. Okay. Mind you, it may not have the quality, but they've got the quantity, a massive amount of troops. We're actually going to send an army group into here, mainly to gain the experience. I know that might be a bit of an overkill, but to gain the experience we need here. And actually, New York can probably be the same as well. Yeah, well, actually, we don't need these either in here. I'm not a big fan of rocket troops. Why I put those in there, I have no idea. But New York is also going to be withdrawn the army here. Look at this invasion force here. It's wonderful. And let's just quickly look here. I know that General Broly wanted to see where he was in here, and there you are, General Broly, right here, sir. Right on the brink of hitting the Austrians here, but our focus must be Spain. Now we're going to hit Portugal, Madrid and Paris all at the same time. It is going to be a massive task, it really is. But if now Paris, I think Paris is the place where we're going to come under the most pressure, because they've got two armies here. These are pretty combat hardened forces, but look at that. They're not... Ooh, there is the possibility of a rebellion here. But they do have this army on standby and quite a few here as well. So this is going to have to be done absolutely meticulously here. Now, this battle group here is going to be actually stationed... What are we hitting here? We're hitting quite a lot here. Now we're going to station ourselves just ready here, ready to strike. Actually, would we get more here? I'm not sure that we would. I think we're going to probably keep our that naval group here, just to make sure that we're steady, ready to strike once this comes in here. Come on, Britain, repair that for goodness sake, sir. Once we hit here, we can hit Calais pretty hard here, so we don't allow any ships to escape. We've got this naval hospital in Brest here as well, and here in Bilbao. We've also, mustn't forget, we've got these two forces, these two armies here, with a third station here. Now, I know some of you are saying to me, Malad, do not attack into Ankara here, but we don't want to leave this Don group to its own devices here. We have to be also start biting into the sort of the Ottoman Empire. So to that end, it's going to fall on my shoulders if things go wrong here. We are actually going to carry on with this particular campaign here against the Ottomans, they could descend on us with quite the vast force here. My goodness me, that is a force and a half right there they've got. But I think we've got enough here to potentially really hold them off here. But we are not going to shirk from what our responsibility was going to be here. We'll put another army here. We're not going to leave the port just yet, just in case. You never know, things might go slightly awry. We do have Greece here, but they're not particularly open to trade here. They're unfriendly. Were they like an alliance with us? No. So again, we've got to be careful that we don't leave ourselves open here. We've got this army here, which we were going to send up to the Don. But I wonder if it might be better if we send this force as part of the group that's going to be attacking into... Actually, we'll leave these two gentlemen in here as well. If we... Actually, we'll refill this with 2-line infantry. If we move this army, actually, will help in the... Also, many of you are saying, Mala, take out the Barbary states and Algiers and Austria and Tunis to establish a base here. Now, we could actually do that. We've got two armies. These two armies here could actually do that. We've got two ships here. We could actually move into Tripoli here, wrestle this from them. What have the Barbary states got here? Oh, that's a lot of melee infantry there. That's a huge amount of melee infantry. That's a lot of cannon as well. They've somehow got all this... That's a massive amount of forces there. I wonder if it's best if we went in for Algiers here. Now we've got this port here completely sealed off. We could take Algiers, push this fleet out to engage our fleet that sat here, and bring Algiers under our control. I think that would be better. I think that's what we're going to do. So what we're going to do is we're actually going to land these two forces here into the Algiers. We're going to establish our own enclave here, and also, interestingly enough, as many of you have said, you'll also put you close to Spain here, Morocco, another possible reason where we can actually strike from. So that's what we're going to do. Now, enough talking here, my friends. Let's get on with this task at hand here. Let's get the forces we need here.
Sir.
Now we've got General Death here. We then got no general here at all at the moment, so that is a position open here. I think we lose another general that needs to be put in here as well.
Sir.
And General Blue Box. So actually General Williams will be, Alec Williams will have this army, which we'll make sure it is put into place next time around. And also General Wilson, I think we shall put...
At the orders. Your humble servant.
We should have another force. Dick Roberts, who has requested this specifically. I think we'll put this one as General Charles Wilson's army. Now we don't have any grenadiers yet, but there's a possibility we might be able to do that soon. So we'll have General Death and also General Roberts leading the fight into... Now I'm going to just take one of these out, move it along to here.
Any orders?
Split the fleet.
Underway. Set sail. Still shipshape.
Yes. Your humble servant.
General Death.
Orders received and understood.
More orders. Make ready. Ready and awaiting order. At the ready.
General Roberts.
Set sail.
Ready
Sir.
and waiting for
Where
order.
to, Captain? Ship's orders. Aye, sir. Ship shape and Bristol fashion, Captain.
And last but by no means least,
Ready and awaiting order. Yes.
we should have, this will be General Wilson's army, or General Williams' army, I beg your pardon. So General Williams' army will be here. And that will be sent to this fleet here. Again, I know it's taking us some time, but we've got to do this right. We cannot just...
Ready for order.
Under sail.
Waiting further order.
put ourselves into, you know, into jeopardy here. We have to do this absolutely by the book here. That's why it's taking us a little bit of time to do these things. Right, can we actually reach Newfoundland here? We can. Let's get them all ready to launch that invasion. Then we'll move to Agvatuk once we've taken this. Once we've taken Newfoundland, Agvatuk will be ours.
Ready and waiting.
Now Britain's brought that into siege, which is excellent.
Take ready. Officer on deck.
Right, we're going to lead with
Take ready.
Generals Death
Come about.
Harvesting supplies.
and Generals
Aye, aye, sir.
Roberts.
Ships orders
In
received.
position.
Fleet ready. Aye, aye, sir. Orders captain.
Look orderly, lads. Look lively, lads.
Take ready.
And General Williams will also move into place here.
Yes, captain.
Gathering supplies.
Aye, aye, sir.
It's going to be quite the fight here. Quite the fight, gentlemen.
Yes, captain.
But we have to do this.
Ready.
Right, let's move these to the nearest friendly port. We don't lose any ships at all. Now we're there. Now we're established in Newfoundland. This is going to be the first stepping stone towards our invasion of Spain. And now everybody else is moving out of here. I think we stripped out all the armies of the New World. Oh, wait a minute. Wait a minute. We also have an army here in Michigan, which I'd completely forgotten about. Look at that. Again, we can retrofit this army here. I think we can move these gentlemen out. They can start their long journey towards Boston, where they can join the rest of the army. We still do have a number of forces here dotted around waiting, but that's going to be great. Got 30,000 next turn, which is excellent. I think we are good to go here. We have started the campaign, the move towards this Spanish invasion. Let's end the turn. We haven't done anything with Austria just yet. We're going to wait to see what their response is going to be, but we will be moving on them quite soon. But first of all, we have to deal with the Mughal Empire first. We have to do things step by step. Barbary States. And also we're going to be moving into the Algiers, which is controlled by Austria. We'll take that from them. It puts us right next to Morocco, which is Spanish territory, but also Gibraltar, remember. Look at that there. Will they dare step forward, sir? If we could plunge a knife into the heart of the Austrian Empire by taking Prague and Hungary, it would be a devastating blow for them. That's right, you pull back, you curs. Oh, you can try and move out here, but it won't get you anywhere. Now France, which could quite clearly take Paris back from the Spanish, but it hasn't chosen to do so. It's good to see that France is still active, though. They have thus far been a good ally. Now Prussia is keeping itself. I mean, Berlin is just mind-bogglingly defended here. It is absolutely throwing everything it can at the defence here. Look how deep that defence is. A layered defence. They're stripping out... Are they stripping out Strasbourg there for defence there? And again, also, we have to attack the trade nodes. We've got so much to do, we really do. I think we have to pour some money into adding additional forces to the fleet. Mughal Empire. Afghanistan, which again has been a real thorn in our side. It took a while there, my friends. Another reason to deal with the Ottomans is also the time it takes for them to sort themselves out. But each time... hang on a minute. What? Oh, the rebellion. Oh, the Dutch rebellion almost took hold there, but alas, it was quickly snuffed out. The flame of rebellion was vanquished by the sheer brutality of the Spanish there, but if they're moving forces away down to the south here, this could give us the opportunity we need here. Oh, Courland? Greece? Don't do anything silly, Greece. Nothing silly from you, sir. Norway. Let's see what comes our way here. Britain's taking an absolute pounding here. Yeah, that's going to be raided. That's fair enough. But they've actually moved forces away from Paris here and from Amsterdam. Excellent. Oh. That took a long time. Oh, we've also got the force here in Ceylon. Now that's been fully upgraded there, so that's actually pretty good here. Yeah, we were moving towards quite a strong base of operations. 18,721 here. Trade is taking a real beating here. Look at that, Russia absolutely cut off there. We've got to deal with Sweden. Oh, Ottoman Germany's come to war again. Now that could be an absolute boon for us there. They've gone to war again, which is phenomenal for us. It really could be an absolute key staging point there for us. We're actually going to move forces now closer.
Yes, sir. By the land.
To the Austrians here.
Ready and awaiting
Look
orders.
at that, what a force there. General Zeno.
Make ready. March.
General Mendoza.
March.
Once again.
For your orders, sir. Your orders.
General Broly. We're actually going to move quite vigorously here in front. We're not going to engage them just yet.
Troops. Forward. Ready for orders.
General Caton.
Make ready.
We're actually going to move two of these armies here.
Ready and awaiting orders.
General PH here to the border
By the
here,
left.
just in case the Germans decide to move out here. Oh, look at that force, General Friedland. So we're actually going to be moving pretty vigorously here,
For crown and country.
and we can actually repair now and replenish at last these buildings that have taken the sound beating here from years and years of being just absolutely ambushed at every point here. We've taken a hit there for our income, but still 18,721 is not too bad. We've got that well defended there at least. Russian. That's a lot of forces they've built up there. That's a terrific amount there. Actually, what is their attitude towards us right now? Minus 280. Actually, it's gotten worse. They got a huge amount of allies, including France. We're not really worried about that at all at the moment. We've got enough forces here to take the fight to the Germans if necessary. We've also got a force stationed here to threaten this flank. We could also threaten them here if we burst into sort of Hanover here. My word, they've got a lot of forces here. We can burst into Hanover here and draw the forces away from here. But actually, I think what we will do...
Make ready.
We've got General Morris here now. They could threaten us. Wait a minute. What the blazes are they doing there? So I think what we'll do is we'll actually reinforce this army group here with this army here. And we're actually going to pull this army back from the border, put it next to Königsberg here, just to solidify Königsberg, because this force here is that's a pretty extensive force here. Mind you, they've now been dragged into the fight down here with the Ottomans, and that is going to leave us... Oh, look at that, they've stationed that there to try and stop us.
At the ready. Your humble servant. Men, forward. Anything more? Ready and awaiting orders. Your humble servant. Troops, halt!
Just so they can
Sir.
cooperate with each other. Yes, they can. That's
Sir.
excellent. Look at that, there's nothing here in Ankara at all. Look at that! It's obviously been raided pretty heavily here. And exempt from tax, which means there's a rebellion. Look at that, and food shortages, devastation by armies. They've absolutely taken a huge hit here. So this region here is ripe for the taking. If we can take this, it would put a huge, huge hole here in the Ottoman Empire. But these forces here are going to be actually moving towards, as we already planned. Let's just dispatch this fleet here.
Sir.
Aye, aye,
Sir.
ships.
We're actually going to move ourselves into position here. Land here. Come on, gentlemen. If you would now, please. Nope. What places are they up to? What the blazes are you up to? Here, please, gentlemen. Please. Thank you.
Sir.
Spring under siege. Of course, surrender is refused. Maintain the siege, please, gentlemen. Look at this. What a force this is here. It's absolutely magnificent.
They hide behind women's skirts.
And actually, we shall have General Charles Wilson here. Will actually could hold this army here as his Grenadier Guards. So General Wilson's army will actually be this one here in Algiers.
Sir.
So we shall make sure that is renamed properly next time around. We've now brought Algiers under siege. Now let us move here for Newfoundland. Let's bring this under siege here.
Yes.
We shall actually have General
Sir.
Roberts
Yes, sir.
leading the charge here.
They're trapped.
Settlement besieged. At the ready.
March.
Your humble servant.
Onward.
Let's just make sure that everything is absolutely in situ here.
Target under
What do we
siege,
bring here?
sir.
They bring in everything to... Look at that. That is 17,000 men. That is incredible. The
Settlement
amount they're bringing
under
here is absolutely eye-watering. But if we can take Newfoundland, that again will be an absolute feather in our cap then. Then we can move to Agvatuk. We do have this sealed off here. Their navy is not. Their army is... That's a pretty formidable army actually, especially the melee here. And then even musketmen they're using, but still we shall deal with them in good time. Now, let's get these armies here
At the ready.
in some kind of order.
Men, forward.
Now, which arm they
Yes,
need?
sir.
We need more men here.
Sir.
Forward.
We've got two army groups here. We've got
Yes, sir.
another army here, which we're going to put
Orders.
into
Men,
position. Again, we need the
Forward.
men here to really... I think some heavy cavalry here will definitely do us some good here. And here as well. Now we've drained our economy here, as it were, in terms of that 189,000 here from the tax income. Now what if we drop this 4,159? Unfortunately, we've got to keep the tax levels high here, so we're going to hit our growth, which is going up, but it's not going to be as much as it was. But again, the growth in this is pretty exceptional here. Got a very high education because of the exceptional universities we got here. We've actually got the spy ready to move into position there. Where's our other spy? There he is. He's going to also move into position. We've got this army here, which is also going to be moved to join these here. We're mounting a massive, massive invasion here. Again, my friends, at your request, which has been exemplary. The navy here is definitely going to need some replenishing here. And this can actually go up to here to join and move to join the combat fleet. We've dealt with that. We've moved the forces from all here. We could have actually started that building here because we need that there, so we could have actually put that into trading port into but we have to focus here. We will come back to that. We will definitely put that. We've got another army here. General JP here as well. We could actually move this force out here from Niagara as well. But if Britain attacks us, then there's not really much we can do about that. If we're going to do this against Spain, let's do this. Let's move them out of there as well.
Maneuvers complete.
We've got the main territories here covered.
Yes.
That's all we can really ask for.
Make
We
ready.
do need some more guns here. We need to fit out some of these armies here as well. But while we've got this operation here in Newfoundland, and while we've got the Agfatuk operation, once these have dealt with this, in the meantime we replenish, rebuild, you know, and get the proper composition of these armies here. Then they're going to be moving out and attacking Spain, and this army group will also be included. Then actually, no, we'll take Sweden first with this army group. So this army group will be actually the forward scouting army. It will be the sort of reconnaissance in force group that will actually move. It'll take Newfoundland, then it'll take Agfatuk, then it'll take Sweden and Iceland there, and then it will wait in Iceland for these other army groups to join it in Iceland, which will be the forward staging post for the attack into Spain. And then once we've got all our sort of cards lined up properly, then we will strike at Spain with everything we've got here to try and knock them out as quickly as we possibly can. We won't knock them all out entirely in one go, but by damn we'll do enough damage where we will do absolutely cripple them as quickly as we can there. And then we can deal with Austria, and ultimately then probably with Germany if it comes out of the woodworker once again. But my friends, I'm going to have to end this episode here. I'm probably going to be working away for a day or two, so I've got to get myself ready for that. But I hope you've enjoyed this episode, and I'd like to thank you all again, once again, for your absolutely incredible advice, my friends. It's been absolutely wonderful. It really, really has. And you have, you know, really conditioned, positioned this campaign to where it is today. Without it, I think this campaign would have floundered quite heavily here. We would have been sort of, you know, flapping about quite a bit, floundering quite a bit. Your advice, your plans, you know, your strategies have really moulded and shaped this campaign to where it is now today. As you can see, we're putting all of your plans into action. As I said before, not all of them could be done straight away because of sort of constraints in terms of economy, and also the sort of the sheer numbers that are going to be used here. We can't stretch our resources that far, but we're trying to do the best we can with the resources we've got. But my friends, this is going to be a fight coming up. It's going to be absolutely huge, but we're preparing ourselves for that invasion of Spain. We're pulling together all the forces we can into one. So we'll have probably about three and a half, maybe even 4 army groups that will be attacking Spain. We've also got 3 army groups that are ready to strike into Austria, as was your as your advice as well, which is to hit Hungary and also Prague, and then sort of move in almost punching straight out, and then sort of, you know, swinging upwards into sort of Prague, which will then put us behind the German lines and putting a massive sort of series of army groups behind the German lines here, which we can attack from, you know, any direction we feel, which is going to be absolutely fantastic. Strategically, that's going to put us in a really strong footing. But I hope you've enjoyed this episode. Please, my friends, if you have, please keep your comments coming down below. Doesn't matter how long they are, how short your comments are, they are all welcome here, and they've been absolutely fantastic. They really have. I cannot thank you enough. But my friends, whatever you're doing, hope you're having a great time. Please be safe whatever you're doing. And again, thank you for all your help, and thank you for making this campaign, all the other campaigns, what they are. They'd be, you know, without you, these campaigns really wouldn't be where they are at the moment, and they certainly wouldn't be as enjoyable either. But next up will be the Knights of St. John. But until then, my friends, bye for now.